immediately after the World War II, I think I was a senior in high school, I was rather disappointed. All these Korean patriots who were formerly in prison came out of prison, but they did not have a concrete idea how to build our country economically, politically, and they were just pro-Korea, but they don't have concrete plans. So I felt that Korea needed economic development very badly, but I was also thinking that I don't want a Western type of modernization. I wanted to preserve long Korean brilliant heritage, and so I wanted to major in economics and sociology, not knowing anything about what sociology was. I met my husband, who was formerly a faculty member at Seoul National University Law School. He was serving as the acting ambassador from South Korea to the United States. Military coup overthrew his government, and we were exiled. And Yale Law School invited us to teach East Asian law and the society seminar together. So we came to New Haven in 1961. We felt that whatever we do, Korea will be judged according to what we do, and we felt like a cultural ambassador. And since my husband was instrumental in establishing Korean studies at Harvard with Professor Edwin Reischau, immediately we tried to develop Korean studies at Yale, which was much harder, much more difficult than at Harvard. And I was elected in 1968 as the first chair of the Korean Studies Committee of Association for Asian Studies. So my mission was to promote Korean studies, not just at Yale, but nationwide. I would say, in order to help them with identity issues, we have to know what the essence of Korean culture was. So at East Rock Institute, on the one hand, we had these annual conferences, but also we did primary research to find out characteristics of Korean culture, cultural values, research through biographies, through criminal law cases, and Korean diaspora studies. Anyway, things common to Korean Americans are the issues of all other immigrants. So we wanted to put their issues in a global context. We lived in Boston at the time. There were less than 12 Koreans. And I found the Asian American kid unusually timid, and they seemed to not have the energy. And I felt there must be unspoken pressure or some kind of climate that we do not understand. So I wanted to know what our American-born Asian children go through in this country, and I want to help them. So that was the reason for establishing East Rock Institute. My husband, on the other hand, experienced socialistic and the communist students' activities while he was teaching at Seoul National University. So he was keenly interested in introducing American democracy to Korea. And he published 9 issues of American Review, and his books were first textbook in American studies in Korea. While I was more interested in Asian American issues, while he was interested in introducing democracy to Korea. When you think about Korea in a diaspora sense, I mean, by diaspora, I mean all those who are of Korean heritage living away from Korean Peninsula, yet they are still emotionally, psychologically, or tied to Korea. People in diaspora, if we look at Korea, it's the fourth largest diaspora in the world. Korea, over 7 million Koreans are now living in over 175 countries. So you can really network globally. So I think the diaspora the concept is essential to understand your identity, but also it gives you a hope that you can network with wider community. If we define ourselves as diaspora, we have a positive aspect, which is culturally competent. We can live in more than one culture, rather than having the traditional notion of marginal person. So diaspora study has many different strengths. So that's a new way of looking at ourselves, I would say. Korea has the longest continuous dynasties in the global history. That means it has a ability to be stabilized. You know, right now we're under we're the only divided country in the world to north and south, but 2,000 written history shows the stability was possible in the midst of major powers. Korea is in the middle, where Russia, Siberia, Mongolia, China, and Japan existed. So what did Koreans do to maintain that stability, that harmony and order? I think it's a very important case study to any country. So understanding Korea should not just end among the Koreans. All other cultures can gain something by learning about Korea. I would like to raise my children who is liked and respected and who could serve others, so that the person can benefit not just one themselves, but their fellow neighbors, and make a difference in the world. In order to do that, virtue over skill that my mother emphasized, that's an Asian educational value, is so important. Excellence and having skill is necessary, but not sufficient to become a leader. And you have to have a compassion. You have to be able to identify common goals of your community. You have to have a sense of mission. Once you have a sense of mission, motivation will be enough to excel. That will drive you. So the drive has to come within yourself, not externally imposed. In an increasingly diverse society, unless you do not know who you are, you cannot be civil to others. You have to know who you are. You have to be very comfortable with yourself. You have to be proud of yourself, to be kind to others and embrace others, and have a much more congenial attitude toward fellow men. So increasingly diverse society demands each of us to understand our own cultural heritage and understand who we are.